this discussion by talking about some of your influences. Who would be probably the primary influence in your career?
I think I'd have to say Lonnie Johnson along with Blind Lemon. Those were the two main influences in the beginning. Now, neither played exactly alike. Lonnie had a way of playing that, to me, it was not really traditional blues, but then it wasn't jazz either. It seemed to be somewhere kind of in between. Lonnie Johnson was a little more mod than Blind Lemon, but Blind Lemon had a way of playing with certain rhythm patterns. It seemed like to me he would be playing, and I can't do too well with my thumb finger, but he would be playing, let's say if he was in TV, I wanna go home. Sing, I got to first sign the key. I think about I wanna go home, but I ain't got sufficient clothes, doggone my bad luck soul. And then he'd start, and ease it out. Like when I would, instead of him double timing as the musicians started to use the word, I would expect him to continue that, but he wouldn't. He'd find certain spots.
I see.
When Lonnie Johnson was altogether different. Lonnie to me, even though Blind Lemon had certain little phrases that he would do that would remind me of Lonnie Johnson. For instance, like Lonnie would be in the key V as we were, and I'd hear this. It's kind of like somebody using good diction speaking to me, like that.
Lonnie wouldn't use the finger vibrato as
No,
much. Yeah.
not like that. This came about in my case from listening to the bottleneck. I have a cousin named Booker White, had a cousin rather, and he would put a bottleneck or take a knife or some kind of metal piece and and they could do that. My thing is I've never been able to do it, but when I would take a guitar and my ears telling me that sound a little bit like if you had the bottleneck. So that's how I started to do it. Well, so after so long, after listening to Blind Lemon, after listening to Lonnie Johnson, when I would try to mimic them or do as they did, which I didn't do a very good job, I would always wind up. To me, to sustain that, it's kind of like, I'm not very good with words either, but if I'm talking to try and make a point to you, okay, I might start it, and it's like telling a joke. If I start it like so, like that, cut it off, you don't get the point.
Right.
But if I do, then I feel that you'll laugh. That's when I'm really stressing the point. I want to really get, in other words, it's in here then.
So let's break down what you're just playing here. You're bending with the third finger and then releasing and bending the next string with your third finger, right?
Right. What I try to do though is to have control over each one of them.
Right.
For instance, like if I'm on this E here, or if I want to hit the E way up, I'll also, but the trill is mostly in this, is like this. Don't know the right words.
Right. So your hand isn't even on the neck, your thumb isn't even on the neck, it's just your finger that's doing the...
Just my finger there. And if you could see it from this side, see I'm not even touching it there.
Right. It's just the only thing that's touching your neck is your pinky right now.
Just, that's the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed though, with a good amplifier, even without an amp, I can sustain that.
Right.
And if I got a pretty good amp, you can sustain it as long as you want. So like being up in a glider plane, as long as you got the current, airflow. And I think a lot of it has to do with how even you. Another thing, I use quite a bit of treble on the guitar.
Mhm.
The way that came about, I cannot hear lows like most people. Okay, I can't hear the bass E or the D or either one of them as the B, I can't hear it like I could the E up top or this B up here. I hear those. So that's one of the reasons why I use a lot of highs, because I can hear it better.
Baby, let's talk about T-Bone Walker and the influence he had on you.